long story short, I'm a 26-year-old female, and I was out one night with some of my friends, and my boyfriend, who is a male 27-year-old, was not answering my text. I knew he was going to hang out with his best friend, but it was odd that he wasn't responding. He is a great texter. I decided to snoop. We have a security camera in our great room that we can pull up on our phones. I didn't know what I was looking at first. Lights were off, but there was definitely porn on the TV. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it sounded like laughter at times. They were sitting apart from each other. I couldn't watch it for long. I made up an excuse to leave as my mind was racing. Shortly after I left, he responded to me that they were just deep in some game and apologized. He wanted to know when I would be back, and I said I was on my way. Took me 25 minutes to get home. I had some time to process. For the record, I don't have any hang-ups regarding porn. My boyfriend more than satisfies my needs. I also understand that sexuality is a spectrum, but I love this man, and this was shocking. Is he bi? In the closet? I have never gotten any sense from him that he was into men. I felt it was good to just be calm, say what I saw, and ask him to explain it. I walked in, he gave me a hug, but I froze, and he said, "What's wrong?" I said basically, "Well, I need to ask you about tonight. You didn't answer your text. I was curious and looked at the camera and saw you and Matt watching porn together. What is going on?" He had this look of shame on his face instantly, embarrassment. But he did share a lot. I just don't know how to process it. He said they started watching porn in high school. He said when they were younger, they messed around a few times, touching, no oral or sex. They jerk off together maybe every other month. Less now than when they were younger. He only does this with Matt now. There were a couple other friends when they were younger, but it was more random. He said he's straight, has zero desire to be in a relationship with a guy or have sex with a guy, but he did admit that there is some sexual energy that he likes. Like that he enjoys talking about sex, joking about the ridiculousness of porn, and casually being a horny toad with someone who he is comfortable with. He said something like, "It's like a manly bonding thing." I asked if he got off to watching Matt. Both of them are very good looking and in shape. He said not exactly, that it was hard to explain. He acknowledged that Matt is an attractive man. Like, being aesthetically pleasing doesn't hurt. He doesn't fantasize about his dick, not at all. But being open with things just out there makes it more exciting, like voyeurism. Not having shame about it, more so embracing it. He apologized for not telling me, but he said this kind of thing, even today, people take the wrong way. I feel like he's being honest. As I said earlier, he is fantastic in bed. If I am being honest with myself, I find it kind of erotic. What I want to know from other guys, is this at all a common thing? Should I be more concerned?
Wow. I feel like that's our first word after every
Yeah,
wow. Um okay.
there's
I
a lot
my
there.
There's a lot there. My first thought is that this is more common than I think people realize. Because her question at the end there is this common-ish,
Is this common?
and should she
Yeah.
be concerned? So I think it is more common than people realize that there is, especially like in the younger years, like early adolescence, there's a lot more experimentation that happens, male to male and even female to female
Mm.
exploration and experimentation that may or may not be related to someone's sexual orientation,
Yeah.
because it's just sort of exploratory. And so there is the safety of friendship that
Mm-hmm.
I think is there, that they feel like they can explore their bodies and explore masturbation and just arousal
Yeah.
and not necessarily be attracted to each other, if that makes sense. And sometimes that is the case, that there is a mutual attraction or at least attraction on one part. So there's kind of like, I think, a variety of combinations that might exist here. And it sounds like he was being pretty open and honest. It sounds like he shared quite a bit with her about like when
Yeah.
this began, that there were other friends initially. Now this is only this one particular friend, and that there's an energy there that he enjoys.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like, it's kind of taboo, it's kind of wrong, it's a little
Right.
unusual, and yet we still kind of like do this together. And so that's kind of thrilling and exciting. And sure, it doesn't hurt that he's a good looking guy, but he's not necessarily saying he's attracted to his friend.
Yeah.
I think it's all very likely true. Um, my thoughts about a concern here have to do with engaging in sexual behavior, I guess, in the perimeter of somebody else, and not your partner not being aware of that. To me, that
Yes.
and maybe this couple hasn't talked clearly and explicitly about boundaries, but to me that could feel like a boundary violation for his girlfriend.
That's what I was thinking too. I agree that it's more common than people maybe realize or think, but I think I would respond to that kind of like, does it matter how common it is? Right? There are people with different interests or kinks that maybe aren't common, but does
Hmm.
that matter? Does it matter how common it is if it's not bothering you? If you're saying you actually find it kind of erotic, who cares how common it is? I think the big thing is, like you said, is it crossing a boundary? Do you guys need to have a conversation about your like agreements in your relationship of, yeah, no, this is fine. Like you can engage in masturbation with Matt, but maybe like let me know first
Hmm.
or something like that. And I think maybe having a conversation too about like the snooping and the spying, right? Because maybe she crossed a boundary for him.
This is
Just
a case for not having cameras inside your home.
right.
Don't be like masturbating with your friend on the couch with porn on when you know your partner. Like, I'm not saying, get better at hiding things or whatever, but obviously he had no
Right.
intention of her discovering this. And
Right.
I don't know. Is that snooping? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
she said she literally pulled up the cameras to see why he wasn't texting her. I mean, how long are you out with your friends with your partner? Not I'm not judging, but I'm just saying how long are you out with your friends and your partner's not texting you and then you feel the need to snoop? Like is there a lack of trust in that relationship that you need
Mm.
to have a conversation about?
Is it
It's like a
snooping?
little
Is
red
it
flag for me.
anxiety? Is
Right.
it habit? Oh, I had a funny feeling. Maybe the cat knocked over the plants. I'm going to check the camera. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
technology has just evolved to a point where we can know everything in any moment, it seems. And there is
Right.
no mystery left. There's no mystery left. Anyway, but in this case, she did just, she discovered something here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So maybe there was like a reason for that mistrust. I don't know, but it's just something that maybe should be a talking point, right? Like your boundaries on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're all about the snooping.
I'm just like, is it snooping? What is the purpose of these cameras then? What's the
Well, she
purpose?
said she specifically put them up to snoop. If you're like, oh, did the cat knock over the plant? No, that's not snooping. But if it's like, I'm going to see
My,
why he isn't
he's
texting me
not
right
answering
now.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
that's
another.
snooping. You
It's
feel personally
curious.
attacked for
No,
some reason.
I think it's curious. It's curious. Oh, he's not answering. What's he up to? I don't know. What did she think he was doing?
she,
I
she didn't say.
Did he say he was gonna have a friend over? I'm just wondering what she
Yeah.
knew was
Yep, she
like.
did know that he was hanging out with his best friend.
Mm, I don't know. I watch too much true crime, and all these murders are getting caught now, happening in like real time with like cameras inside the homes.
Oh my God, stop watching that.
It's getting too real. It's getting too real. I think it's more common than you think, and if you find it erotic and your boyfriend finds it erotic and no one's hurting
Exactly.
anyone and everyone's mindful of everyone's boundaries, no problem
Right.
here.
Just have a conversation. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. If you've enjoyed hearing two sex therapists give our thoughts and feedback about these situations, consider subscribing, stick around, join the community, or just share a comment below. What are your thoughts? Can you relate to any of these situations? Do you have any opinions here? We'd love to hear from you.